The wonders of London. Why does London attract over 30 million visitors every single year? Is it the grandeur of its royal palaces? The whispers of history echoing through its cobbled streets? Or maybe something even deeper? Something about this city that captures the heart and never lets go. Imagine this, standing by the River Thames, where centuries of history meet the rhythm of modern life. Red double-decker buses glide past Gothic cathedrals. Towering skyscrapers cast shadows on medieval walls. And the aroma of fresh-baked scones competes with the smell of sizzling street food from every corner of the world. This is London, a city where tradition and innovation walk hand in hand. Where you can sip afternoon tea under chandeliers one moment and watch indie street performers in Camden the next. From iconic landmarks like the majestic Big Ben and Buckingham Palace, to hidden gems tucked away in quiet alleys, London is more than just a destination. It's an experience, a living museum, cultural melting pot, a global powerhouse that has somehow kept its charm completely intact. In this video, we're going on a journey deep into the heart of London. Together, we'll explore its incredible history, uncover the most breathtaking places to visit, peek into the quirky corners most tourists miss, and of course, answer the question that's on every traveler's mind: is London expensive? We'll also give you practical travel tips to help you make the most of your adventure here. So, are you ready to unlock the secrets of one of the most fascinating cities on Earth? This is like a free ticket. Just a like, subscribe, and a small comment helps bring the next video to you. Let's begin our journey to the timeless wonders of London. To truly understand London, you have to peel back the layers. Because this city isn't just built of bricks and stone. It's built on centuries of stories, of conquests, of survival, and of transformation. Let's rewind. Nearly 2,000 years ago, when the Romans arrived on this misty island, they founded Londinium, a bustling port on the banks of the River Thames. Back then, it was a small but thriving settlement protected by thick stone walls. Believe it or not, if you know where to look, parts of those Roman walls still stand today, hidden in plain sight among modern skyscrapers. But history wasn't always kind. London was raided by Vikings, burned, rebuilt, and fought over countless times. And yet, it endured. Fast forward to the Middle Ages, London became the heartbeat of England, a center of trade, politics, and royal power. The rise of the British Empire turned this city into the capital of a realm that spanned 1/4 of the globe. Ships from every corner of the world docked here, bringing tea from India, spices from the Caribbean, and treasures from Africa and Asia. London became a true world city long before the term even existed. But not everything was glorious. In 1666, the Great Fire of London raged for 4 days, destroying over 13,000 homes. Imagine the sky glowing red as the city burned, but from the ashes rose a new London, rebuilt stronger, with grander architecture and safer streets. Then came the darkest days, World War II. The Blitz. Night after night, bombs rained down. Entire neighborhoods vanished. But Londoners, with their famous stiff upper lip, refused to be broken. Underground stations became shelters. Music played even as air raid sirens wailed. And when the dust settled, the city stood tall once more. And here's the incredible part. You can still see these layers of history everywhere you go. Walk the cobbled lanes of the City of London, and you're tracing Roman footsteps. Stand before the Tower of London, and you're staring at medieval power. Visit St. Paul's Cathedral, and you're seeing the resilience that rose after the Great Fire. Even the modern skyline with the Shard, the Gherkin, and the Walkie-Talkie Building tells a story. A story of a city that never stopped evolving, never stopped dreaming. It's often said when you walk through London, you're not just seeing a city. You're walking through time itself. Now, ready to see the places where these stories come alive? Let's step into London's most iconic landmarks. If London's history is the heartbeat of this city, then its landmarks are the living, breathing symbols of that story. Each one, a chapter. Each stone, a witness to centuries of change. Let's begin. Right in the political heart of Britain. The mighty Big Ben, though technically that name belongs to the bell inside, rises proudly beside the Houses of Parliament. Chimes are more than just sound, they are the rhythm of British democracy. Since 1859, this clock has kept time through wars, royal celebrations, and changing eras. When you hear its deep tone, you're hearing the heartbeat of a nation. A short stroll along the Thames brings you to one of London's oldest and most mysterious landmarks, the Tower of London. Built nearly 1,000 years ago by William the Conqueror, it's been a royal palace, a prison, even a zoo. But today it guards something truly priceless, the crown jewels. Over 23,000 gemstones, worn by kings and queens through coronations and history's grandest ceremonies. Oh, and if you listen closely, locals say you might just hear whispers of ghostly footsteps because legends of hauntings? They're very much alive here. Next, no trip to London is complete without a visit to Buckingham Palace, the official residence of the British monarch. Tourists gather here, cameras ready, waiting for the iconic changing of the guard. Picture it. The soldiers in red coats and bearskin hats, marching in perfect formation, a display of discipline that's been part of royal tradition for centuries. And behind those gates? Over 700 rooms, including a throne room, a ballroom, and yes, even a cinema. Nearby stands Westminster Abbey, not just a church, but a place where history is written. Since 1066, every British monarch has been crowned here. It's also the final resting place of famous names like Isaac Newton, Charles Darwin, and Stephen Hawking. The air here feels heavy, not just with incense, but with the weight of legacy. Then, to truly see London in all its glory, you step aboard the London Eye. This giant observation wheel lifts you 135 meters into the sky. And from up here, the entire city unfolds, the snaking Thames, the glint of glass skyscrapers, the dots of black cabs below, and the feeling that you're witnessing something truly timeless. And just when you think London couldn't surprise you further, it does. Meet Tower Bridge, a Victorian masterpiece that isn't just beautiful, it's functional. Its roadways lift to let tall ships pass beneath. Watching those massive bascules rise, as they have since 1894, is a moment that feels like stepping straight into history. These landmarks, they aren't just places to visit. They are storytellers, guardians of London's past, and witnesses to its future. But London isn't only about the grand and the famous. In the next part, let's wander off the beaten path, into the hidden gems that most travelers completely miss. Everyone knows Big Ben, Buckingham Palace, and the London Eye. But what if I told you that some of London's most magical moments aren't found on postcards? They're tucked away, waiting for the curious traveler to stumble upon them. Let's start with a splash of color, hidden right in the middle of bustling Covent Garden. Welcome to Neal's Yard, a tiny courtyard bursting with charm. Picture this, buildings painted in electric blues, sunshine yellows, and vibrant reds. Cozy cafes, organic eateries, and tiny wellness shops line the cobbled alleyways. Feels like you've stepped into a secret, a place that somehow exists right in the heart of London, but far from the crowds. Now, how about a little slice of Venice in London? Believe it or not, Little Venice offers just that. Quiet canals weave between quaint houseboats, waterside cafes, and tree-lined paths. Forget the tube here, you can hop on a narrow boat and float serenely down to Camden Market. The water ripples, swans glide by, and the chaos of the city feels a world away. Speaking of views, most travelers rush to the Shard, paying hefty fees for the skyline. But locals know a secret. The Sky Garden, a public rooftop oasis, offers panoramic views of London, absolutely free. Inside, it's a lush greenhouse of tropical plants, glass walls, and open-air terraces. Sip coffee with the skyscrapers, gaze out at the Thames, and watch London unfold beneath your feet. without spending a penny. But wait, do you love Harry Potter? Then you can't miss Leadenhall Market. This stunning 14th century covered market, with its ornate wrought iron and painted ceilings, served as the filming location for Diagon Alley. Walk through its arches and you'll feel like you've stepped straight into the wizarding world, minus the flying broomsticks. And for something completely unexpected, let me take you to God's own Junkyard. Nestled in Walthamstow, this is a neon paradise like no other. Imagine a warehouse glowing from the inside out, packed floor to ceiling with vintage signs, psychedelic art, and neon lights. It's chaotic. It's beautiful. It's Instagram heaven. And somehow, feels like the spirit of London in visual form, quirky, eclectic, and unapologetically creative. These aren't just hidden places. They're London's soul. Quiet corners that reveal the city's true personality, far from the tourist rush, yet rich with character. And now, as we step away from the hidden, let's dive into what life is really like here. Curious about the British lifestyle? The famous humor? The tea obsession? Let's find out. What's it really like to live in London? Is it all tea, rain, and polite conversations? Well, yes, but also, not quite. Let's start with the stereotype that's absolutely true British politeness. Londoners might not always strike up random conversations like in New York or LA, but you'll hear sorry, excuse me, and pardon more times in a day than you can count. And let's not forget the queuing culture. In Britain, queuing is an unspoken law. Jump the line, and you might just experience the rarest of British emotions, public disapproval. And then, there's the humor. That famous dry, sarcastic, self-deprecating wit. A typical Londoner might look at pouring rain and say, "Lovely day, isn't it?" with a perfectly straight face. If you don't catch the irony, you'll learn quickly. But the real heartbeat of London? It's the pub culture. Now, don't be fooled into thinking pubs are just bars. They're neighborhood institutions. It's where birthdays are celebrated, jobs are mourned, sports are passionately debated, and lifelong friendships are formed. A cozy pub with creaky wooden floors, a crackling fireplace, and the smell of fish and chips? That's London in a nutshell. Then come the quirky yet beloved British traditions. Like afternoon tea, complete with delicate finger sandwiches, warm scones, clotted cream, and pots of Earl Grey. Or the classic Sunday roast beef, crispy potatoes, Yorkshire pudding, drowned in gravy, an event that families take very, very seriously. And of course, there's cricket in the parks where people gather for matches that can, quite bafflingly, last for days. But here's the twist most don't expect: London isn't just British. It's one of the most multicultural cities on Earth. Over 300 languages are spoken here. Walk through Brick Lane and you'll smell Bangladeshi curries. Head to Brixton for Jamaican jerk chicken. Explore Chinatown for dim sum or Southall for Punjabi street food. London doesn't just belong to Britain anymore. It belongs to the world. And that's exactly what makes living here so special. Every neighborhood has its own vibe, its own flavor, its own story, and together they create a city that feels both wonderfully familiar and endlessly surprising. So, what's next? Let's take a peek at London's biggest celebrations, events, and festivals, the moments when this city truly comes alive. If London feels alive during an ordinary day, just wait until you experience it during a festival. Because when this city celebrates, it does it with a kind of energy that's impossible to describe, but unforgettable to witness. Let's start with something spectacular: Notting Hill Carnival. Every August, the quiet, pastel-colored streets of Notting Hill explode into a kaleidoscope of color, sound, and rhythm. It's Europe's biggest street party, celebrating Caribbean culture with dazzling costumes, steel drum bands, and the deep, contagious thump of reggae and soca. Over 2 million people join the celebration, dancing, laughing, and following the endless parade of feathers and music. Then, there's a very different kind of fever: Wimbledon. For 2 weeks in summer, the world's oldest tennis tournament turns southwest London into the epicenter of sport and tradition. Imagine this: the gentle pop of tennis balls, perfectly manicured grass courts, and fans dressed in summer whites, sipping Pimm's and eating strawberries with cream, more than 33 tons of strawberries to be exact. Wimbledon isn't just a sporting event. It's a slice of British summer with all its elegance and excitement. As the year winds down, London prepares for one of its most breathtaking spectacles, New Year's Eve on the Thames. Picture this: the countdown echoes through the city. As the clock strikes midnight, fireworks explode behind the London Eye, lighting up the skyline, reflecting on the river, and welcoming the new year in truly spectacular fashion. But perhaps the most magical time to visit London is December. Christmas in London feels like stepping into a fairy tale. Stroll through Winter Wonderland in Hyde Park, a festive carnival of lights, ice skating rinks, roller coasters, and warm mulled wine. Walk down Oxford Street or Regent Street, where millions of glittering lights hang above shoppers. Explore the Christmas markets at South Bank or Leicester Square, with the smell of roasted chestnuts in the air. And then comes one of the city's proudest and most joyful events, London Pride. Every summer, millions come together to celebrate love, diversity, and freedom. The streets are filled with rainbow flags, vibrant floats, and the sounds of music, laughter, and unapologetic joy. Whether you're part of the LGBTQ+ community or an ally, Pride reminds everyone that London is a city where everyone belongs. No matter when you visit, there's always something happening here. Because London isn't just a place, it's an experience. A stage where the world comes to celebrate. And now, from the festivities to the finances. Curious about how much it costs to visit or live in this incredible city? Let's break it down. Let's be honest. London has a reputation for being, well, expensive. But is it really? And how does it stack up against cities like New York or Los Angeles? Let's break it down. First up, accommodation. Hotels in central London can easily set you back $200 to $400 per night, similar to Manhattan prices. But look beyond Zone 1, areas like Stratford, Greenwich, or Hammersmith offer better deals, with prices often dropping by 30 to 50%. And if you're staying longer, Airbnb or serviced apartments can save a fortune. Now, food. The good news? London caters to every budget. A sit-down meal at a mid-range restaurant? Around $25 to $40 per person, slightly cheaper than dining in New York. But street food? Oh, London wins here. Places like Borough Market, Camden, or Brick Lane serve mouth-watering dishes for as little as $8 to $12, from bao buns to Turkish kebabs, Ethiopian curries to fresh oysters. How about getting around? Public transport is your best friend. The tube, buses, and trains are efficient and affordable, especially with an Oyster card or contactless payment capping your daily travel. Expect to spend around $9 to $12 a day, which is way cheaper than New York's taxis or LA's reliance on cars. Oh, and those iconic red buses? A flat fare of £1.75, about $2.20 for any journey. And attractions? Here's where London truly shines. Unlike most global cities, many of London's top museums are absolutely free. Yes, free. The British Museum, National Gallery, Tate Modern, Natural History Museum, Science Museum. All open their doors without charging a penny. Compare that to $30 plus per museum in New York, and London suddenly feels like a bargain for culture lovers. Of course, if you fancy watching the crown jewels, riding the London Eye, or exploring the Tower of London, those come with a fee. But balance it out with all the free gems, and your wallet breathes a little easier. Here's a quick hack: travel during off-peak hours, usually after 9:30 a.m. on weekdays, and you'll pay less on trains and the tube. Plus, grab discounted theater tickets in Leicester Square and check out apps like Too Good To Go, where restaurants sell leftover food at a fraction of the price. So, is London expensive? Compared to cities like New York or San Francisco, slightly less. Compared to LA, a little more, especially if you rely on public transport rather than driving. But like any great city, London can be as expensive or as affordable as you make it. The secret? Know where to look, and London rewards you with world-class experiences without breaking the bank. Ready to explore how to navigate this city like a local? Let's dive into the travel essentials you absolutely need to know before visiting. Now that London has captured your heart, let's make sure it doesn't confuse your travel plans. 'Cause knowing how to navigate this city can make the difference between a good trip and a truly unforgettable one. Let's start with transportation. London's public transport system is simply world-class. The famous London Underground, affectionately called the Tube, connects nearly every corner of the city. It's fast, efficient, and pretty easy to figure out with colorful maps guiding the way. But don't miss the experience of riding London's iconic red double-decker buses. Sit upstairs at the front, trust me, the views are fantastic. And when the weather plays nice, London is an incredibly walkable city. Neighborhoods like Soho, Covent Garden, or South Bank are best explored on foot, where every corner reveals a new surprise. Oh, and just a heads up, mind the gap. Now, when should you visit? Each season paints London in a different mood. Spring, parks explode with cherry blossoms and tulips. Perfect weather for picnics in Hyde Park or boat rides in Little Venice. Summer, it's festival season. Outdoor concerts, rooftop bars, and long evenings with sunsets as late as 9 p.m. Autumn, London turns into a canvas of orange and gold. Crisp air, fewer tourists, and cozy pubs await. Winter, chilly, yes, but utterly magical. Christmas lights, festive markets, ice skating, and that undeniable winter charm. Visa requirements? If you're from the United States, great news. For visits under 6 months, you don't need a visa. You simply enter as a tourist. If you're from the UK, well, you're already home. For others, check the UK government's official site. It's straightforward. Safety? London is generally safe for travelers, especially in tourist areas. But like any major city, stay alert in crowded places, especially for pickpocketing on public transport or busy markets. Wondering about tipping culture? It's more relaxed here than in the US. At restaurants, a service charge is often already included. If not, leaving 10 to 12% is appreciated but not mandatory. Tipping isn't common for taxis, but rounding up the fare is polite. For emergencies, dial 999 for police, ambulance, or fire, just like 911 in the US. Need to stay connected? Grab a local SIM card from providers like EE, Vodafone, or 3 at the airport or any high street store. Data plans are affordable and reliable. And don't forget, the UK uses Type G plugs. Those are the chunky 3-pin plugs. Bring an adapter if you're coming from the US or most other countries. Bottom line, London is easy to navigate, welcoming to visitors, and full of little conveniences, once you know the basics. So now that you're ready, let's talk about something bigger, something deeper. Why is it that so many people don't just visit London, but fall completely in love with it? And should you visit next? So, after everything we've explored together, the question remains, why does London capture so many hearts? 'Cause London is a city where ancient meets modern at every turn, where you can walk through a Roman wall in the morning, grab lunch in a 14th century market, and sip cocktails in a futuristic glass skyscraper by night. It's a place where tradition blends seamlessly with diversity, where royal guards march in perfect formation. Yet street performers in Camden blast out indie rock, hip-hop, or reggae, where the smell of fish and chips drifts past the aroma of Indian curries, Chinese dumplings, and Ethiopian coffee, all on the same street. Here, every corner tells a story. Cobblestones whisper about kings, poets, rebels, and revolutionaries. The grand buildings stand as witnesses to centuries of change, while hidden alleyways hold secrets only the curious ever find. But more than that, London isn't just a destination. It's an experience. An experience of contrasts, elegant yet edgy, fast-paced yet full of peaceful moments. Whether it's the quiet of Regent's Park at sunrise, or the rush of Oxford Circus at peak hour, the city constantly surprises, constantly moves, and somehow constantly feels like home to millions from all over the world. So, would you consider visiting? Walking across Tower Bridge, riding the tube, catching the sunset from the Sky Garden, or maybe even living here? 'Cause the truth is, London isn't just a place on a map. It's a feeling, one you can only truly understand once you've stood here, once you've felt it. And there you have it, the wonders of London. A city that's grand, gritty, glamorous, and everything in between. But now, it's your turn. Have you ever been to London? Or is it still on your bucket list? And here's a fun one: if you were landing in London tomorrow, what's the very first place you'd visit? Would it be Buckingham Palace? The Tower of London? Or maybe a cozy cafe tucked away in Neal's yard? Let me know in the comments. I love hearing where your adventures might take you. And if you enjoyed this journey through one of the world's greatest cities, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell, because more incredible destinations, hidden gems, and travel adventures are coming your way very soon. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep exploring.